Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is David Murphy, publisher of the National Black Unity News. We come to you today to highlight people who are involved in the paper, the National Black Unity News. I just want to give you a little insight of who we are, what we do, and why we do it. The National Black Unity News is a solution-oriented publication, and it's a quarterly. We don't put down any group or race of people, but our intentions are to uplift our own. And because they're in this country and beyond, the playing field is not equal. And so that's why we focus on us, melanated, Black, African American. And the publication is a quarterly. It's circulated nationwide and beyond. And before we get started with my brother, Mr. Bill Curtis, I want to share a little knowledge about him, that I know of him. Now, I met this gentleman a multitude of years ago. I can't even count the years, but it's been many. I know it's been over 25. And and this brother, man, as we grow older, sometimes I don't know. We've done so many things in the lifetime. But in any case, this brother assisted me with my first caps. He put logos on my caps for me, and I was doing a publication called the Informer newspaper at the time. And also before that, I was doing a little thing called Togetherness Unlimited. But I've been running into this brother over the years. He's always been active. He always been a concerned brother about us, we Black people. And he's still on the front line serving, doing what he can to uplift us. And so, Brother Bill Curtis, I appreciate you, man, and welcome to the podcast. And before we get started, I just want to let people know, that's my version of you, but tell us your version of you, who you are, why you do the things you do. And I know it's a lot, but, I'm just saying, introduce yourself, sir, and let people know what you do.
Okay, thanks so much, Mr. Murphy, for interviewing me and bringing me onto your program this morning. Talk to people throughout the National Black Unity News Network universe, let's say. Right now, at this stage, I'm focusing in on the cultural products, specifically the Pan-African flag, officially called by Garvey back in 1921. The red, black, and green flag. Many people, particularly younger set, have introduced me to the short acronym, RBG, I'll be out at culture events and the young set, the 20-something to 30-something-year-old set would come up and say, let me have one of them RBGs. I said, what's an RBG? But it's the red, black, and green flag. Okay. So I do the flag in different versions. Of course, the historic flag is red, black, and green. Then there's different versions that have come along over the past few years. There's one that you see over my shoulder that is has the outline map of Africa on it. And there's a version that I have that's, you can find these on my website, rbg123.net. That is www.rbg123.net. So there's four different versions, actually, I believe. You have the traditional red, black, and green, the one with the map of Africa, the one that has the, shall we say, the motif of the US flag with the flag stars and stripes. And the third version is, the Black Lives Matter, red, black, and green flag. But you asked me about me, why I do what I do?
Yes, sir.
That's what you asked me. Yeah, well, I like Black culture. I'm like, it's always meant something for me. Starting out, stumbling around in Baltimore. There's an area of Baltimore that was called Lexington Mall, where everybody shopped back in the day. Back in my day, it's not even back that far. Talking to people, Black Muslims selling the papers, Panther guys selling the papers. I'd always had an ear for it. And then I was a reader too. And I also had a father. So kind of shaped me in a certain kind of way. So I was just receptive to it. I like Black culture. I like Black history. I don't know why the rest of the people don't, really embrace it no matter what they're doing in their life, be they professional. And I've worked in the professional world, suit and tie. I've dealt with a lot of different kinds of people, Black, white, Oriental. Sorry, not Oriental. My son told me, don't call them people Orientals. They're Asians. Don't insult them. But I've dealt with all kinds of people. Underlying, Jewish people particularly, no matter what they're doing, they have a sense of themselves as they move in the world, as they move in America and do what they do. And they're kind of organized too. I think culture gives you an organizational basis if you're authentic about it and if you fully embrace it. So for me personally, it's helped me. It helped me when I got, it just helped, it's like this. It's like, how do I put this? You are stumbling through life, right? You can go this way, you can go that way. Depending on what you have internalized, no matter what's going on outside of you, I think about sometimes I was expelled from high school. I stumbled back into high school, but I stumbled back in high school because even the guys that I used to hook school with, we were all readers, which is really kind of, when I think back on it, but back then, back in the early 70s, people read. It wasn't so much going on to Facebook and looking at pictures or the whole visual thing. We were readers. Book of school, what we were talking about, Man, Child in the Promised Land.
Yep.
That book was kind of hot. Who wrote that book? But that was a very hot book for the time that people embraced as meaningful in their lives. So just, what can I say? I've always liked the Black, well, can I say always, but you've had teachers that shape you to want to read. Oh, pardon me, Mr. Murphy. Telephone. Shut this off, maybe. How about that? But so you go way back, and there's this exposure to reading and knowing people who were culturally aware. That kind of shaped me to want to continue to do what I do. I started out with during the Obama's first run. I was setting up over in DC with just Obama stuff, and people started asking for flags. So, piece by piece, I began to sell international flags because DC is a very international city.
Right. Mm-hmm.
People would ask, do you have Ghana? So come back next week, I'll have Ghana. Next week, somebody might ask, do you have Korea? So come back next week, I'll have Korea. And then, of course, the red, black, and green was always there. And the buttons were there. Of course, Obama paraphernalia was there. The I Love Being Black button was there, which looks like this. I'll put it close to the screen here.
Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the latest version of the I Love Being Black button. We have another version.
Yeah, you can raise that up a little.
Raise up?
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
There you go.
Okay, that's it, yeah. This is another version of the I Love Being Black button. Like so. This is very popular too, of course. Why wouldn't it be? There's our red, black, and green buttons. Like so. Okay. And can I show a couple of things I've done for people, Mr. Murphy?
Sure you can.
All right, cool. This we did for organization up in Atlantic City area. Of course, campaigns against police violence and all that. And It's not all cultural in terms of custom-made buttons. This is a version of a button we did for a church organization here in Baltimore. So we do custom buttons as well.
Okay, yeah. But let me ask you about stuff like you see. I see you showing buttons in your flag. But like I told people in the opening statement that I met you many years ago, and you were doing these things, all types of materials, pens, everything. So why did you get in this type of business?
Let's see. Well, you make me have a flashback to someone I was married to at once. You know, we used to do entrepreneurial things, you know, and we did. She was an amazing woman, actually. We did. What was it called? We called it the first community fair East Side over there at Valley and Eager Street. Okay. There was a young priest there named Brother Howard, and we coordinated an event, had vendors, had Fatima the fire eater there.
Yeah, I remember. She was in my first paper.
Is that right?
I got a picture up on my wall with her. She was one of my very first papers I ever created. She was part of my team. Yes.
Yes, okay. Fatima the fire eater, she was. So we did that event. We did some other things. We did the Dick Gregory's Bahamian Diet, some other multi-level marketing kind of ventures. And, you know, she was like, no, let's not do anything else. Let's not do anything else. Let's lay off for a while, you know. So I don't know. You know, this whole entrepreneurial thing is in me. My father had a store. So to me, it's normal to do some kind of transactions.
Okay.
You know, that's part of where it comes from, I believe, you know. When you see what you see, you can easily do, like easy, like normal. So I stumbled into this, reading those, and they're still out today. I think Success Magazine, Entrepreneur Magazine, they were out back in the late 70s, early 80s, and I think they're still being published. But I saw something in there, you know, about advertising specialties, promotional items. And I wrote them, and I signed up, you know. And I guess the other thing too, as I think about it right now, my father, as I said, had a store, right? Mm-hmm. A man used to come around regularly, and Curtis Community Stores, it was called. My dad would purchase calendars from this gentleman for his business. So I saw that, you know, I didn't connect it to this other venture I was trying to do. So, but it was a background thought, I guess. So what did I do? I didn't tell the wife. I sent in for the kit, whatever, the package, how do you do it? And found out how to do it. Got access to a company I was distributing for. As I learned more, I was like, I want factories. I want to be able to go directly to factories.
Okay.
Oh, yes, this is America. It's okay to go through distributor, I was a dealer. They were the distributor. Mm-hmm. It's okay. You start where you start because it's a low entry fee, low cost, you know? So I remember telling the wife, I said, I need to find out where these people get this stuff from. She says, how are you going to do that? I said, it's called the library. In America, you can find anything that you want in the library. Nowadays, we would update that and say, you can find anything that you want on the internet.
Yes.
Right? If you dig deep enough, drill down deep enough. But the library is a repository of Western civilization. I went to the library, talked to librarians, found the listing of manufacturers in the United States, went into the big books, took my time because I didn't know what I was doing, right? I didn't know what I was doing. but I know what I was trying to figure out. And the only way you can figure out something, be it at my age, which I think is relatively young, it's like a 67, or if you're 17, right? You can figure it out, but you have to apply yourself to do that. Right. So, the other thing I did, and I still do this today, I was like, okay, do I call them? No, I didn't call them. I wrote them. Back then, you'd write them, send them a letter. They don't need to hear my voice. They don't need to know anything.
There you go.
Wrote them. And what do? Hey, they load you up and stuff. Nowadays, you ain't got to talk to nobody. You can be on the internet and send them an email. So it's a different world today. Same principle. In your research, you got to make the effort, and don't get deterred. You don't want to get deterred because it's easy to get deterred and discouraged, Got to keep at it. So that's where it began. I had a shop on North Avenue. That's where we met. Murphy.
That's right. Yes, sir.
You told me about them cats, man. I'll tell you something. And this, you could probably relate to this as well, because you've been at this for a long time. I've done things. People come up to me and say, oh man, you did this. You helped me out with this. I had a nephew who tells me I did his first business cards. I don't remember any of that. I do remember you coming to the shop. I don't exactly remember that. Remember the hats, the caps, but I know it's something that I did. But I was up there on North Avenue, 3046 West North Avenue. That was a good phase. That was a good phase during that time. Before that, I was home based. I had a customer on North Avenue who was going to relocate. He's an older, back then, if I don't know, if I was 30 and if he was 45, it's like he's old, right? Mm-hmm. But he took a liking to me. And other people took a liking to me. I had people to help me out with money on a handshake, just on a handshake. Mm-hmm. Who were very kind to me along the way. But the gentleman there, his name was Hubbard. He said to me one day, he said, Curtis, actually, he was my third customer. Maybe my second customer. Because what I did early in the morning, this is what I'm talking about, early. If you really want it, you got to get up and go get it. Mm-hmm. Early in the morning, I went out and put flyers in the businesses that were in the area where I lived around North and Hilton Street, North and Bloomingdale. The commercial strip there was Walbrook Junction, Walbrook Merchants Association. Mr. Hubbard calls me. He wants pens, right? Because I was heavy into that at that time. Mm-hmm. I still have access to that. I do. And there'll be something in your paper about that at another point more in detail, maybe the next issue, I'd say. But Mr. Hubbard was my third customer. He calls up the young man, says, hey, I need to see you he says, I need to see you at 6 a.m. Okay, 6 a.m. He's a contractor. I go bopping up there, all young and full of hope, right? I go bopping up there, little jacket on, right? 6:10, not 6 a.m. He opens up, lets me in, 6:10 a.m. Says, Curtis, what time did I ask you to get here?
Uh-oh.
Said 6 a.m. What time is it now? It's about 6:10. He said, I'm very busy. Come back tomorrow.
Wow. Okay.
Come back tomorrow. Yeah. He befriended the young man, and he relocated his operation. I think he told me he was going to go to Richmond. And he said, if you want this storefront, I can talk to Miss Ann, who owned the cleaners on the corner, and she owned Black woman, old school. Well, if I was 28, 29, yeah, she's old. Okay. But she owned that corner. Katrina's was next door to me, upholstery shop, driving school.
Yeah, I remember them.
Okay, my man.
Oh yeah, you know, I was busy during them days. Yes.
Yes, Black business owners. Okay. She let me in. I was there for about 4 or 5 years. I will admit, in hindsight, I didn't know enough at the time. I should have got a loan, right, to finance rent, utilities, etc. It was difficult trying to build a business, pay your bills, and operations at the same time. So, but I had a good 5-year run up there. I think I was up there for about 1988, maybe 80, 87, 88 till 91. A 5-year run, pushed into 6 years, juggling. But it was great. I don't regret any of it. You understand? I don't regret any of it. Great experience.
Yeah, because you know, a lot of times, like you say, they learning curves. Even, you know, like I say, some people don't take, but it's not small beginnings, but you know, little things like when the gentleman told you come back tomorrow, he was teaching you a principle. You know,
Yes,
you know, so you know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like I say, back in them days, thank God, because sometimes we had to bump our heads. That's all, you know, that's the way we learned. You know, and unfortunately, a lot of times we didn't, you know, like say, when you're innovative like that, you don't have too many mentors. You just go out there and do what you have to do. You try to make what you can. But but again, you know, you and I talk every once in a while, and I know you say you like to read, but see, you put yourself around a lot of powerful people from my perspective, like this gentleman by the name of Earl Colbert. No.
Wow.
You know,
he's our unknown giant in Baltimore.
That's right. You know, people like him, man, that you would sit down with that brother, man, he would spill, he would put knowledge on you. And then they not only that, but they had warrior spirits.
Yeah.
And you had people all over Baltimore. I'm talking about, you know, big giants today, you know, history, you know, hindsight. You had the Haysberts and all of them, you know, them brothers would sit down, man, and pull you up and talk to you.
Yes, they would. They would. Along that line of those giants like Colger, there was Mr. C. Cabell Carter, who put out, I don't know if you remember, I'm sure, I'll just mention, he put out a Black calendar, Black Facts. Yeah. And he was a historic, he was a scrapper in the tradition of Black historian J.A. Rogers. They were scrappers. They would, you know, find this obscure, significant information, historical facts about Blacks and publish it, you know. So him, you mentioned Haysbert. I'm thinking back in terms of how I got shaped.
Brother, the Nightlifer.
I have issues of the Nightlifer. I still have some issues of the Nightlifer. Yeah. His name is Walter Carr, Sr.
Right. Yeah.
But these were independent people. Now, and they hustled, you know. I'm sure they may have had some financial backing some kind of way. Like I've had financial backers who helped me, because you do need finances in one way or another, be it when I was doing the business home-based and I'm doing the business, and my wife, a lovely wife at the time, had a job and she had health care, you know, so she covered me, but I hustled, you know. But as you mentioned, other people, influencers, there was a time too where I wrote for paper. I was the business beat reporter for our former mayor, Catherine Pugh's paper. She had a paper back then, African American News and World Report. So
learn something new every day.
Yeah, I mean, no, and it was a good publication.
Yeah, no, I remember it.
Yeah. So she assigned me, you know, she saw I had some interest in business. She assigned me to be her business beat reporter. So I met a lot of those people. There was a strong branch of the National Businessman League which was founded, if I'm correct, by Booker T. Washington. So strong contingent here. Burnett Jones was president. Now she's a reverend. Steve Pace was in it. He had an upholstery shop. Haysbert was in it. Baines was in it. I did a lot of work. I did a lot of work for Baines. So I used to coordinate Baines's Academic Achievement Awards program. I took it from one school to about 27 as that market expanded.
Robert Curtis, hold up 1 minute. Hold up. Let's hold up 1 minute. Man, you dropping some pearls of wisdom and knowledge on me, brother. All of these, like I say, these are powerful people that you interact with over the years. You know, man, and you talk about, I like to read, but man, you have some serious people that you were dealing with.
Yes, and they helped me. I mean, and the other thing is, see, I didn't always run my mouth when I was around those cats, right? Shut up and you listen. Mr. Baines would how did I get business with Baines? I was doing I had my shop on North Avenue, right? 3046 West North Avenue, North Rosedale. Young and full of hope and energy, okay? I met Baines when he had one store at Wally and Park Heights. I'm riding up the street. He's got these pennants up there. I call him up and I said, all crude, but energetic, right? Mr. Baines, I see you got pennants hanging outside. They're getting kind of raggedy. I can help you out with it. I can help replace them. Come on in and see me. All right. He had one store, small, Park Heights and Wally. I think now it's a drug rehab center or something. But he bring me in. As he told me about this, he said, I'll give these kids. Well, he befriended me as well. Okay. He would, when I came up to his office, his wife was sitting over here to the left, her desk. He's over here. He says, honey, here's a young man who called me up and said that I have these raggedy pennants out there and he can help me out. Okay? Like that. I mean, just like that, right? Just like that. Yeah. So I did some other work for him. I used to do his forms, business cards. I did his names. I still have one. I have one I've always kept. Stop, shop, and save, the little name thingy that people will wear. But it came to a point where he said to me, sitting talking to me, he says, these kids in the neighborhood, they come in and show me their report card. I give them $1 for every A or whatever. And he said, it's getting kind of expensive. I want to have some kind of trophies or something. I said, I can do that for you. He said, I want to have a program. I said, I can figure it out and present to you how that might work. So we came up with the Academic Achievement Awards program. He went from one school, which was Edgecombe Elementary. It's off of Park Heights. I guess it's Edgecombe Street Circle area. A little bit to the east of the store, maybe 5 blocks east of the store, going up Wally and then back into the neighborhood. We were from one school to up to about 24. Because at that time in Baltimore, you had Stop, Shop, and Save. You also had Super Pride, Black owned.
Do you remember who owned that?
I want to say Oscar. It was his first name. Super Pride was Oscar someone, I think. But I did business with them a little bit too. I supplied them with whatever promotional items at the time.
Yeah, cause I can't think of the gentleman's name. He was like my mentor too. I just can't think of his name.
Really?
He had one up in the Emersonville shopping center. He had 2 or 3 markets at the time.
Yeah.
And they had a couple of partnerships too, but like I say, them guys will pull you up and sit you down. I was green too, I tried to get an ad from them, man, but they would put you down and educate. But let me just say, I don't mean to cut you off, but guess what?
No, go right ahead. Sure.
I'm getting old, and when the thoughts come to mind, I have to get them off. Just listen. We will be back after these messages.
What symbols are in your house? Take a look around. Add the symbol of progress and destiny to your environment. We started out in the late 1990s. But our service is stronger, more efficient, professional, and quantum leaps more enthusiastic than 20 years ago for providing you with professionally manufactured, well-made, positive cultural products for your use in the 21st century. Yes, RBG has provided cultural products for over 20 years. We ship orders within 24 to 48 hours. We prove ourselves to you with dependable service, fast and reliable delivery, integrity. That us. RBG123.net. RBG flags, cultural buttons, international bandanas. We are your source for RBG flags and positive cultural products.
Welcome back. Listening to you, sir, about your journey. And you're just getting started about your journey and the people that you interacted with. And now I can see a little bit more why you do the things that you do today, because that kind of thing is built in you, not only from your father, but when you went into business, those people that you interacted with, and then you not only did you interact with, but you got involved. You say you got involved with the paper. You got involved with Mr. Bain and his program. See, you got involved in so many things that over the years. And brother, I think it's time. I'm just throwing a little hint out there, ladies and gentlemen. Because if nobody don't tell our stories, it would never get told sometimes. And because of your rich history and those people, because like you said, you just mentioned just on that block alone, you named the business owners and who they were. And stuff like that. People don't know, and that that these are the kind of story, even their family, because sometimes all of their history dies with these people. And the Colgans, and nobody's here to tell their stories, a little bit of their stories anyway. And sometimes, because like I said, it's in you. And you dealt with people, you still doing, and now I'm getting a real good picture of you.
Well, 45 years later, I'm glad you're seeing something about me.
No, but I always did. That's why I dealt with you in the first place, because I always had an eye for people who were sick. Because we say in hood, game recognized game. You can tell people when they serious about something. And even when I first met you, you was very professional about what you did. And not only was you professional, but you was willing to help. Because I was green as I don't know what when I met you. I just said I needed some items to help promote my. I did promotion. I was doing newspapers and stuff. I knew I needed something. But guess what? When I started looking for somebody, nobody wasn't around but you. That I could find.
Right.
And I'm the one who was putting together a directory. I started out with direct, and I just had to find out, like you see, like I said, we didn't have the computers. I had to go to the library. I had to go to the library to find the printer to print the newspaper.
Okay,
that's right. They said this big book of, like you say, manufacturers. All over the country, and that's why I had to find stuff at. But again, listen to your story, man. Like I say, you've been on a journey, man, and yesterday, today, as well as tomorrow, you can tie things in together, but sometimes, things just fall into your lap sometimes. I'm just suggesting, man, that you need to journal some of that stuff and kind of put some of that history back out in this town, because people need to know. I remember Rosa Pryor. Rosa Pryor.
Yeah, she's still here. She's still around.
I know, but she got this. I got her books, and everything.
Yes.
But she did this thing on the avenue, and just me, I'm talking about just from my own, I used to live right off of Pennsylvania and Baker Street, 600 block of Baker Street, and I would flip through the pages and she had pictures in there
Wow.
And man, that was just like listening to old music, just flipping through the pages, just watching the
Wow.
stores and stuff like, and just listening to you talk. I'm seeing North Avenue, remembering some of the people that had gone by.
Yeah.
You know, but we had shops all over the place, all up down the
We did.
avenue,
Yeah.
up down North Avenue, Monument Street. We
Yes.
was rolling back in them days. We had
Yes.
Giants in the community, we had the Haysburgs, the Baines, and all of them
Yeah.
around us, man. You know, we had it going on. I mean, most of it seemed like
We
that
did.
we have today. But
We did.
but like I say, but most like, and I hear these young people say, y'all haven't done anything. But you know, people don't know because they don't know the history.
Yeah.
Nobody's telling them the true stories and stuff, you know. And
Particularly now,
Mhm,
particularly nowadays,
mhm.
our hearing is in a silo, relentlessly filled up by other media.
Big time.
During our time, you know, we had 3 or 4 stations, wasn't no internet. We were not absorbed by other people's information, where that became our reality. We were better off back then too.
Yes, we was.
Yes, we were. Because as you're mentioning, you know, me knowing certain businesses, etc., I was flashing in my mind just names of people along the North Avenue corridor
Mhm.
that I remember that owned the cleaners and owned the little store around the corner. Well, Mr. Archer that had a store at Dukeland and North Avenue. Kind of go down the steps and there he is. What happened was, as the kids say, what happened was money came into this town. Korean merchants came into this town. They came in with money. I dealt with, here's another piece. I used to do business for the Korean Merchants Association. All right, the Korean Merchants Association. They had a young guy, I'm probably mispronouncing his name, but I'm gonna say it's like Nanking. We're about the same age, right? During that time. I did their business cards for him. Figured out a way how to get Korean script on it because he wanted some Korean script. I found somebody that could do that for me. I was up at Wayne Moore, a good old boy, a good Caucasian friend who had a print shop, Moore's Printing, and then somebody down there had an Apple computer, okay, which wasn't so well known back then.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And he did the Korean script for me. But I remember Nine King saying, because, you know, we became little buds. I mean, I got business from them. You know, I did all the cards for the association, et cetera. But I remember asking him, I said, how do you guys do this? Businesses. I says, just tell me, how's this done? Well, we reached a level of comfort where I could ask those kinds of questions, right? He says, well, Mr. Bill Kirk, we have something we call the GA. He says, the GA, we all put money in it. Right? Everybody puts money in it. Somebody wants to open up a business. Someone wants to open up a business. Someone wants to open up a business. Let's say where I used to live on Payson Street. Korean comes in, opens up that corner store. Right? He wants to open up a business. The GA, he borrows from the GA. They finance the business, okay? He pays back into the GA, okay? But he's got to pay, they work hard. As you know, the Korean people, they work hard.
Mhm.
Sun up, sun down. Just like, you know, think of some continental African people that I know who I've dated, and even married at a certain point in my life. They work, like no joke, right? I mean, no joke. If anything I learned dealing with foreigners, they work. But anyway, so the guy loans them money. The guy loans them money. They work their business. They pay back into the guy, right? And the guy's always is operational. Now, I don't know who coordinates all this. I don't know if it's, I was about to say something about, is it legal or illegal money? I don't care. They were financing. That's how many of them set up shop. But another way they set up, and I know this from personal experience, brother had a store around the corner. I lived on North Avenue. I lived near Coppin at the time. I had a small apartment. And he had a small store, candy store, you know, little dry goods on Bentlow Street next to JP's hair salon student. She was a customer of mine too. What happened was with this gentleman, I can't remember his name. Koreans came in, suitcase, showed the money. He sold his business at the time, and we're going back to the 80s. Yeah, 80s, North Avenue was where I lived. Well, today it's not a lot of money, but it's nice to have. $15,000. He sold to the store, right? For $15,000, which was significant in the 80s, right? You give me $15,000 a day, it's still significant, but it was really significant in the 80s, right? They closed that store. They had one next door. They closed it. They didn't reopen it. They just wanted him out, but he took the money. That's a part of what happened. People saw the money and they got out of the business. Some didn't. Some really were trying to. I know one store I had talked to the gentleman, Mr. Nicholson, God bless his spirit, had a cleaners at North and Bentlow, right?
Mm-hmm.
The name is still up there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He really wanted to sell it to somebody Black, but they couldn't get the financing, couldn't get the money together, right? To turn it over. And I think he eventually sold it to some people from Asia who had the money. The only thing that we're missing as Black people is money, organized money, because we got a lot of money in the Black community. You and I know people who have money.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, but are we corralling it and organizing it to achieve a really specific goal? Kind of get our little ego, because we, you know, we got some ego. We got some ego. We got some ego, right? Mm-hmm. That ego needs to be like tamed like a wild stallion. It needs to be tamed, calm down with ourselves as individuals, first and foremost, and organize our money like them Koreans do. That's the only difference.
But let me say this, you know, because we're going to have to get off here. Man, okay. I'm going to just say this to you, Mr. Curtis. Man, like I say, you know, when you talk to people, sometimes you don't know, but like I say, you have such a rich history in this town. And you have a lot of knowledge about some of the movers and shakers in those days.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of wisdom and knowledge of what's taking place today. And I can see, you know, why you into the flag thing, into the image, into the culture of us. And you also seen some of the downfalls of us, as well as, you know, what we can do to uplift us as well. And this is only a suggestion. I think, man, you need this. You don't have to be a writer, because like I say, you can just jot your thoughts down, because people today can actually take your thoughts and turn them into the books and everything else. You know, they just need the information, and then they'll work with you. Just make sure it ain't out of content or nothing, you know. But somebody like you, like I say, man, I can see a book like that, man. Just tell, you know, because you talking to a lot of people, you talking about a lot of the family members and everything else, man, that a lot of got people who lived in those communities. Yeah. That will recall, you know, I mean, they're still around, you know.
Yes.
I remember when I was a kid, I used to go into that store and, you know, stuff like that. That's what I was saying about Rosa Pride book. I recall me walking them down the avenue and seeing all of these same bars, because I couldn't go in them. You know, I'm a little boy. But I just remember, I used to love to watch people. I used to see how dressed up they was, how sharp they was going in and out of the places. But, you know, but then again, like I said, but it was history. And God has blessed you with that, because not only was you see, you actually was involved in the history. You helped those people. You know, you mentioned all of these great names, Baines, Kogers, and all of these type folks who, and a lot of people had no clue who these people were today, I'm just saying. And because, like I say, sometimes you don't know your past, you know, your history sometimes, you know, it gets lost, and we don't tell our own stories. But in any case, sir, I'm just say this to our listening audience. yes, Mr. Kurt, he's a unique gentleman with a unique history, but he also he's heavy into our culture. And in closing, sir, I want you to tell the significance of us having these flags. And what do you think is significant for we, us, Black melanated people to have these type of flags?
It's a symbol of the culture. I think the red, black, and green flag, as created by Garvey and his organization, which was Pan-African in its thinking. It was a worldwide thinking about that organization, their thoughts. I would say that the red, black, and green flag, reds for the blood, blacks for the color of the skin, greens for the land and for the aspirations, etc., is very important just to have, if only that, in your household. Something cultural. I mean, we have other cultural symbols in our household that we may or may not understand. Not casting any disparaging comments about anybody, but we're Christian people here. But we have those symbols. They want you to remember, to reinforce. I think that we need to start reinforcing a cultural symbol that reminds us that we can cooperate with each other. We can do business with each other. I think that needs to be reinforced because on the other side, as I was saying earlier, there's a silo of information that's coming in that's always saying, no, you can't do that. No cooperation. No, me. We need some symbols in our own personal. I ain't talking about no big organizational thing. I could be, but I'm really talking about individuals like me, you, and anybody that's listening to this to this broadcast that, I throw my own commercial pitch in here too. The website is www.redblackandgreen. I'm sorry, that's the old name. New name, rebranded. www.rbg123.net is where you can at least get some of these symbols to bring into your household so your children can see them, your nieces and little cousins can see them. I got a little cousin that says to me, I've been picking her up from school, helping her mom out a couple days a week. And Cousin Bill, you so cultural. I said, well, what's wrong with that? But she has picked that up, by, I don't know what we listen to on the radio, kind of questions I ask her. She's seen some of my products and merchandise. She's aware of what I do. But it's a good thing to have symbols. Symbols can speak louder than anything in the world. And it's a good reinforcer. It's a good reinforcer personally.
Let me stop you right here. On the second. Guess what I watched this morning?
What's that?
The opening of the Olympics. And guess what they did? The first thing they did, they marched in with what? Their flags. Proudly.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So proudly.
Yes. Exactly.
But I just had to throw that. But yeah, you are so right about the emblems, because that says a lot to the mindset. But again, share with people again how they can, even though we will have credits on it, but I want them to hear from you. How can they get in touch with you? And again, why it's so important that we, us Black melanated people, need to have these symbols, these flags, or something in our house that remind us of who we are and what we can be as well.
Well, I guess I can kind of re-summarize what I said, which is the symbols are important. It's like today we're into affirmations, right? Everybody's doing affirmations, try to reprogram themselves, right? Well, the red, black, and green is an affirming fact that we can have in our world. You ain't gotta repeat it every day, but if it's in your view, your mind is picking up this new representation of cooperation, unity. I don't know, you can run down the Kwanzaa symbols, all that's wrapped up into that as well. All that is good is in the red, black, and green. All that is good. Cooperation, being kind, spend money with each other, respect each other, stand up straight, as I told my neighbor's son. his little job. I said, hold your head up. What's your job? I'll be walking around, But, and I knew his father too. His father was a very cultural guy, right? No, his grandfather. I knew his grandfather. But culturally, man, we need to remind ourselves. If not, you are going to get brainwashed into somebody else's body of information, which is specifically what I would do too to us, right? That's how you control people. You control the symbols in their mind, in their brain, in their subconscious. I would do the same if if I was the other side and you're you. I want to mess your brain up. You straighten out your brain with affirmations. You straighten out your brain by having symbols. You can continue to have your cross, your Quran, whatever else you're doing. And I have no argument with any of that. I tell people, I ain't arguing with you religiously. I'm not arguing with you spiritually. But you got to have, or it would be useful to have, because you ain't got to do anything. It would be useful to have some of your own homegrown big ideas, the red, the black, and the green in your world. And we supply those at our website, www.rbg123.net.
All right. I appreciate that, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close with this. Just a reminder. Just recently, I'm talking about flags now. When they had that Confederate flag floating all over the place in these past protestings and stuff like that, did you see the effect that it had on you? And the effect it has on us. You see, that's what he's talking about. Brother Curtis is talking about, that symbol, what it stands for. And so, so it does have significance, when you raise that flag, just raising the flag, period, it has such significance to it. But Brother Curtis, I appreciate you, man. Yes. You're a wealth of information, and you need to add one more thing to your repertoire as far as I'm concerned. You need to start writing that book. Also,
you think I should?
Yes, sir. Man, I'll help you if you want me to, because we know how to do all these things. But all you have to do is put down the thoughts and just jot down the thoughts and remember some of the times, and that's it. And then you got people who know how to edit. You got people who do know how to do all of these things. But that's what it takes a village sometimes, and everybody benefits from it. Yes. But again, I want everybody, starting with David Murphy, because I'm gonna order my flag. I need one right up here, because just listen to this, brother. It makes a powerful thing. Even though I do black this and black that, but that symbol. That symbol, like I said, look, if I'm just looking at that thing, getting up in the morning, going to bed at night, just the flag, but like I tell people, I'm gonna just say this in closing, because I get so excited about certain things sometimes. I remember, because in my business, I'm in media, and they told this story. They did a documentary, and I had to watch the documentary about the power of media and influence. They had people in the movie theater, and they did, this was years ago. This is nothing new. This happened 30, 40, 50 years ago. And they would take out of that movie, they would put one little clip of popcorn.
I remember that. Yeah.
And when they clicked the thing, people just start going to this concession stand, start buying popcorn. Just that one, if they had that much influence from one little clip like that, a second, not even a minute of a second or something, can you imagine what the flag and emblems of us could do to our mind and our mindsets? So y'all get with Brother Curtis, man, and at the end of this interview, it will have his credit, his contact information, his websites, and everything else on. Brother Curtis, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Like I said, your journey, man, from my perspective, has been great. It ain't over with yet. And continue to do what you've done, because you already been doing it anyway. So, in spite of everything. But I appreciate you, sir. And that will
thank you.
This will conclude our interview, and you will be hearing from us, from this brother. Man, I'm telling you, man, this brother got me kind of fired up.
I'm glad.
You took me to yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Yeah.
And man, like I say, man, but God has blessed you, man, and for you to go on this journey the way you did, for you to interact with that many people, and still you turned around and you had made it possible for us to get a hold of these great symbols, these great flags, these buttons and everything else. Because we remember, from my time, we used to have our officials back and we were so proud. We used to say, I'm black and I'm proud. You can go all over the country, all over the world and do that.
Yeah.
But see, now they infiltrated us there. We need to renew our minds. Get these flags, ladies and gentlemen. Take care and God bless.
Thank you so much, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Yes, sir.